always looking out for you. Weeknights at 5, 6, and 11.
Now in Nightcast, jobs, infrastructure, immigration, trade, national security. That's what the president focused on in his first ever State of the Union address. We'll break down his speech with the help of a local political science expert.
8 people hospitalized. Some jumped from a second-story window to safety. Hear from family members of the victims of the massive downtown Butler fire.
Our winds pick up tomorrow and much warmer air blows in. I'll have your live Doppler 15 Fury forecast.
A teen tragically takes his own life. Why his family's blaming a common medication prescribed to help fight the flu. Nightcast starts now.
You're watching coverage you can count on. This is News Channel 15's Nightcast.
President Trump back at the White House tonight after delivering his first State of the Union address. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Brett Thomas.
And I'm Heather Herron. Tonight during the speech, the president called on both parties in Congress to work together on immigration reform, infrastructure improvements, and more. White House correspondent Mark Meredith has more in tonight's top story.
The President of the United States.
In his first State of the Union address, President Trump told Congress and the nation that the American economy is getting stronger every day.
This, in fact, is our new American moment.
The president said last year's tax cuts are boosting consumer and corporate confidence. On immigration, the president encouraged Congress to compromise. The White House wants to build a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. In exchange, the president said he would be willing to create a pathway to citizenship for millions of illegal immigrants.
I am extending an open hand to work with members of both parties, Democrats and Republicans, to protect our citizens of every background, color, religion, and creed.
Democrats in the audience appeared unimpressed. Nearly a dozen lawmakers skipped the speech in protest, but the president said he's optimistic that Congress could agree on at least one idea: rebuilding America's infrastructure.
Together, we can reclaim our great building heritage.
On national security, the president said he'll reverse an Obama-era promise and keep open the U.S. terrorist detention facility in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. During the speech, the president never mentioned the investigation into Russia's influence on the 2016 election. Instead, the White House hoped the speech would show the country the president is intent on leading the country forward.
People gathered at IPFW tonight to watch the president's address. IPFW's Department of Political Science hosted the watch party. Before watching the address, they held a panel discussion. One IPFW student expressed his appreciation for events like the watch party.
I think it's really important for collegiate institutions across the nation really to host events like this so that you can get more involved into the political arena. I think it's important that, you know, college students, millennials in general, are the largest voting bloc in the country, but we're the least likely to turn out at the polls. I think that speaks a lot to our generation, and I think events like this can help us kind of turn that tide so we can, you know, really start turning out the vote here on college campuses, making our voices heard.
Coming up in about 5 minutes, we'll talk to a local political expert about the president's address.
Professor Mike Wolf will join us in studio to break down the State of the Union. That's all coming up after our first break.
Flames shooting out of the building everywhere, from the side to the back.
Tonight, several people are figuring out what's next after being displaced by a fire. We continue our coverage tonight of that massive fire in downtown Butler. 8 people went to the hospital. Some jumped from a second-story window to safety.
And tonight, we're hearing from those who were inside that burning building. News Channel 15's Kelly Roberts was in Butler all evening. She joins us live in our newsroom now. So what can you tell us, Kelly?
Brett and Heather, Amber McCoy says 3 of her family members jumped from the building to avoid the flames. Marie Bowe says the images of her friends covered in severe burns horrifies her, but the 2 still did all they could to make sure their loved ones were out of that building.
My mom's husband comes running up the stairs telling everybody, get out, the building's on fire.
Amber McCoy didn't have time to think. She wanted to get her family to safety after their apartment caught fire this morning in downtown Butler.
I got a 1-year-old, I snatched him up and I went to head down the stairs and I couldn't see anything. My chest was hurting because I couldn't breathe.
My husband comes into our apartment and he says, our neighbors' place is on fire.
Marie Bowes lives next door and considers Amber and her family friends. She too says she did not have time to think.
There was a trailer that was in the alleyway, and I jumped up on the trailer, asked everybody to hand me a ladder.
Bowes says she assisted in any way she could as police worked to get people inside out. Crews say the fire started in the basement of the building. 6 people inside and 2 police officers helping get people out were sent to the hospital. Some people inside so desperate they jumped.
I was getting ready to go back in after my mom and them, and by the time I rounded the corner, they were jumping out the window.
The worst part was seeing my friends burned.
McCoy says 2 of her family members remain in the hospital with severe burns. 5 of the family's pets died in the fire. The fire also caused a gas leak, which evacuated a whole block, so the Red Cross has set up a shelter at the Eagles Lodge in Butler. Live in the newsroom, Kelly Roberts, News Channel 15.
Tonight, 3 people are facing multiple charges after police say they were dealing cocaine and heroin. Just before 3 this afternoon, Fort Wayne police searched a home on East Rudisill Boulevard. They found drug paraphernalia, heroin, marijuana, guns, and cash. They arrested 31-year-old Ricky Armour on multiple felony drug charges, as well as another woman who was in the home. And while police were there, 27-year-old Stephanie Pomchan arrived and was also arrested for dealing cocaine and heroin. New tonight, it's a major undertaking for Fort Wayne. We are learning more about the future plans for the former General Electric campus near downtown.
And for the first time, we've learned that Fort Wayne Community Schools plans to open a school on the campus for student entrepreneurs in grades 6 through 12. It was just part of a public meeting discussing plans for the Electric Works campus. We also learned Phase 1 will feature residential living, community space, office and retail units, and a year-round market. But the project will take time, anywhere from 5 to 10 years. It could bring in as many as 3,000 permanent jobs, as well as thousands of construction jobs. It's expected to boost property values, too, near the campus and have a major economic impact on the city. Construction could start this summer. We saw a bit of snow today, some flurries out there.
And it was pretty cold too, but we are in for at least a temporary warm-up, right, Nicholas?
Yeah, temporary. Pretty much just tomorrow we get the surge of southwesterly air in here that's going to give our temperatures that nice boost. You can see the warmth that resided to our southwest today that's going to try to move in as we get into the daytime tomorrow. Today, we only mustered a high close to 30, and that's pretty much where our temperature stands now. It's 28. The winds are breezy from the south-southeast at 14 miles per hour. That gives us a wind chill of 17, so there is a bit of a chill in the air if you have to head out late tonight. We had a day with on and off scattered snow showers. The snow showers have pretty much come to an end, and we look ahead to a dry overnight. Temperatures will bottom out in the mid-20s. Once we get to the morning, temperatures start rising, and remember, they rise significantly during the day tomorrow. Coming up in your 10-day forecast, yes, tomorrow's a warmer than average day, but the 10-day forecast is filled with temperature ups and downs. I'll break things down for you when I see you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Nicholas. 2-year-old Malachi Garrett has been laid to rest 2 months after he was beaten to death. Tonight, a woman who knows his mother claims she had evidence that the little boy was being abused. The coroner says the toddler had extensive bruising consistent with blows from a fist. His mother, Amber Garrett, is facing neglect charges. Her boyfriend, Mitchell Van Ryn, is charged with murder. Garrett's longtime friend, Rachel Van Olden, shared with News Channel 15 a series of text messages she received in the months leading up to Malachi's death. She believes Garrett is equally responsible and should also be charged with murder.
I hope you're right. I hope you feel every inch of pain that he felt.
News Channel 15 did attempt to contact Garrett. She has not returned our calls. A $30 million lawsuit brought against the state of Indiana by a former Indiana State Police trooper has been dismissed. A U.S. District Court dismissed a civil rights lawsuit against members of the Indiana State Police, prosecutors, and other officials. David Cam was tried 3 times for the murder of his wife and 2 children in Georgetown, Indiana, back in 2000. He was eventually found not guilty of the murders. Well, he claimed in his lawsuit that he was the victim of unlawful investigation, arrest, and imprisonment. Cam was seeking $30 million in damages. Now that the suit has been dismissed, the state will work to recoup its costs for taxpayers.
A 16-year-old from Indianapolis committed suicide And now his family is saying it may have been caused by side effects from using Tamiflu. Charlie Harp's family says he was diagnosed with the flu last Thursday, and like many flu patients, he was prescribed Tamiflu. The antiviral medication can shorten the duration of the flu. Less than 24 hours after Charlie started taking the medication, his father found him dead in their garage. His parents say Charlie had never expressed suicidal thoughts before and had no signs of depression. The only change, they say, had been taking Tamiflu. The Tamiflu warning label clearly states pediatric patients may be at an increased risk of confusion or abnormal behavior. But Charlie's parents say they weren't properly warned about that and what it could mean.
They didn't tell you that, this could possibly be side effects. They need to let the parents know, hey, watch your kids, don't just leave them alone.
The thought, of someone else not knowing and giving it to their children, I can't bear that.
The maker of Tamiflu says it can't comment on this specific case, but, quote, neuropsychiatric events have been reported during the administration of Tamiflu in patients with influenza, especially in children and adolescents, unquote. It says that patients should be closely monitored for behavioral changes.
The Indiana Senate has approved a bill that would require medical providers to report additional information about patients who seek treatment for an abortion complication. The bill by Republican Senator Travis Holdman of Markle was passed 38-11 today. It now moves on to the House for consideration. Supporters say the measure is necessary to ensure that abortions are provided safely, but opponents argue the government would be meddling in deeply personal affairs. The bill includes a list of complications that must be reported, like infection, blood clots, and hemorrhaging. It would also require the reporting of depression, anxiety, and sleeping disorders. The state would then compile that information for an annual report. Coming up on Nightcast, we'll welcome a special guest into our studio to break down what the President's State of the Union address means for you and your family. All that and more when your number one news at 11 returns.